My name is Ralph Squillace. I'm a principal product manager at Azure Core Upstream at Microsoft. We're responsible for cloud-native compute environments like WebAssembly and complex virtualization solutions. Cloud-native compute solutions like WebAssembly and virtualization. No, I've been coming to cloud, my first in December of 2017. And I've been at every single KubeCon in Europe and the United States. I'm a long-timer, and I enjoy it because engineers are here to find new things that make them better. And they share it more than any other conference around, which is the reason it's enjoyable. I will say that, of course, AI is everywhere in people's brains, right? But to be honest, that's sort of the background oxygen that we're all breathing right now. That's not actually the biggest immediate problem. The biggest immediate problem is people are looking at the EU CRA that's coming in 2027 and combining that with the impact of AI on open source projects and, in fact, software anywhere, in the sense that the new models can detect bugs that humans are missing. And so there's a very powerful movement towards security using AI to review your code, to make sure that bugs are found and fixed. That's a large pressure that people are feeling right now. And so that's sort of AI adjacent. It's not what we sort of hear about. But those two areas are extremely top of mind. If you go around here, which is huge, this conference, you will find that probably 50 to 70% of almost everybody you're talking to has that as at least half of what they're doing, if not. They're like brand new startups here that are doing only that stuff because they identify that as the most important thing going on right now. Mostly they make it up. No. So once you said cost, give me the list again. Cost, flexibility, and control. That's a spectrum with multiple variables, which means there is no matrix that makes you happy because you're special, right? And so everybody's special, which means you've got to run the matrix first and then iterate and fine tune to dive into the profile that is most important to you. People will pay a lot of money to be certain that they're secure, but they will also, a different group of people will pay a lot of money to make sure that they're fast and they actually are not concerned about security. Maybe the data they process isn't as important as another company. So those are really, that's really a what do you call it, a gradient between security, speed, and flexibility. Anything running on Kubernetes has as a high priority a relatively low cost of ownership over time and an extreme degree of control, whether that control is for optimizing for one of those gradient, quadrants, or whether it's something like on-prem versus in the cloud, or in a particular region because of government reasons or compliance or security or privacy reasons. You can't pick one or the other. You have to actually know that Kubernetes in particular gives you the flexibility to do that at the lowest cost over time. You can do something today for like super fast, okay, with a PaaS that does everything. But over time, that PaaS that does everything will cost you more. And Kubernetes is sort of the long-term platform that you have to think about. It's just the way it goes. A recent change made in my what? A change to my stack. Well, as Microsoft, we have every single stack on the planet pretty much, so I can't really talk about that. I would say that my day-to-day as a product manager is in fact profoundly changed by using AI, and not in the way that most people talk about. Like I'm not talking about, like I'm not from Microsoft, so for us a brand is Copilot, and for Google or Amazon it'll be different, or Anthropic, right? What I'm really saying is that whatever tool you're using, whatever tool we use all kinds of tools inside just to see how good they are, right? I now rewrite and update my specs with revisions in my internal Word docs or PowerPoints and review those, send those around. I can do those in 3 minutes with an AI by examining the repo PRs that got merged last night and my Teams chat and my emails and like 4 or 5 blogs or aggregators or whatever it might be. I can scan, Y Combinator news every day. And in about 5 minutes while I'm getting coffee, I can actually reassemble a whole bunch of information. And what I'm discovering now, and this is different than last year or 2 years ago, what I'm discovering find now is that 98% of everything that is summarized is correct. So of course I'm responsible for the content. That means every day when I go and review these things, they're only in revisions. I did not just change things. And so I go through, do the revisions, check the links, make sure they're okay. I do stuff like that every morning now, where I used to try to do it Friday morning before the weekend, and it would take me 3 hours to cover the world of stuff. And now I can do it every single day and share with my engineering team and my colleagues, and also my community colleagues, right? In a way that, like, every day I gain 3 hours of power. So that is a change in my kind of human stack, if you will, as a product manager, that really is making a difference, even though, you know, it's real easy with a lot of kind of AI marketing to go, no, this is something special. It really is. I will say this about the AI stuff. The only way it works is if you already know what specification to give it. And so in a way, in cloud native, we've started moving so fast using all the tools that were out there that we didn't really stop and write a specification. They're rare over the last 10 years. And this is sort of like the return of the specification. You need to sit down and decide what that engine is going to do for you. And you have to be very precise, and you have to limit it. Tell it what it can't do along with what it can. And then it will save you just acres of time. But it is really the return of the specification. And that I love, because it's your brain that the tool is exercising. It is not the tool does anything. Well, so since we're a worldwide company, sovereignty in any kind of metaphor, whether it's privacy sovereignty, whether it's the data location sovereignty, whether it's compute location sovereignty, or whether it's something, you know, more political in some sense, right? The truth is that our customers are impacted by various changes in the international economic environment for software profoundly. I mentioned one earlier, the EU CRA, which appears in 2027 for most people. Pretty much everybody at Microsoft and our customers around the world, with a lot of which are multinational, so there's not much difference for them than there is for us. We're all sort of looking at this problem in as forward-looking a way as we can. So I can't really speak to what Microsoft is doing so much, because they're doing the same things our customers are doing. They're trying to figure out, like, hey, if we have a sovereign cloud that we legally agree your stuff stays there, is that sufficient for your region's interpretation of data laws, privacy laws, and so forth? In some cases it is, and in some cases it isn't. And, you know, in some cases, companies like Google and Amazon and we are actually helping customers leave the cloud and set up shop with Kubernetes in their local region when they think it's necessary. Because the real truth of community-based, you know, compute is that we're all in this together, regardless of which business in that one quarter made some revenue. They might make more revenue in the future by realizing that we're all in this together when we're talking about computing. So the details are hard to, you know, kind of like, it really depends on who you're talking about and what size company you're talking about, including Microsoft versus a startup like Stack8s, right? So what you do and what we do will be radically different. But we're all really in the same boat, trying to make the computing experience of everybody as even and smooth and portable as we can, even though people would normally sit there and say, well, yeah, you don't really want it to be. The real truth is that in the long term, we do. In the long term, we do, because every company makes its business on the trust and the confidence of the customer in them, and that works better as an advantage in business if everybody knows the engineering is mostly the same, right? It's not a specific engineering feature that really is the critical difference. Whatever we do first, other companies will do in 3 months. Is a 3-month advantage really the thing you're gonna write a 5-year contract for? No. It's a panoply of things that involve the business confidence, the backup, the legal environment, and so forth. So these decisions are really much more complex and not so immediate as people tend to think. So things like compliance, sovereignty, location, those are long-term problems we all share. And so being portable and helpful is actually a better play for everybody.